The show title is Il Tempo a Roma è, which translated into English is The Time in Rome is. ... Yes.
Okay.
Because the fodder for much of my photography over the years has been related to the issue of time, the continuous present moment. A photographer can't photograph 1/100th of a second in the past, nor can the photographer photograph 1/100th of a second into the future. The photographer can only capture what is immediate, and once captured, it becomes part of the past. The only thing that is really viable in terms of what's real and what isn't is that present moment, and looking at the past, it's nostalgia in a sense, and looking towards the future. It basically serves as a 2.5 century old stage on which occurs 21st century life. And it, in doing that, creates sometimes an odd juxtaposition between what is in fact now and what has persisted across centuries. This is a good example of contemporary life occurring against that ancient backdrop, because that is the Roman Colosseum in the background. And the area surrounding the Colosseum is a favored location for wedding photography. I'm kind of bemused by this picture, just not only the fellow carrying the baby, but the bride in the background, which indicates perhaps the marriage occurred about a year later than it might have otherwise. These photographs were taken without folks realizing I had taken them, despite the fact that I was in most cases, let's say 5 to 10 feet away from them. Very close proximity to them. So your camera technique needs to, if you want to do this kind of photography, if you want to try to capture a certain spontaneity in the way life is playing out in front of you, you have to learn to be a little bit sneaky. What really intrigued me when I saw that, I mean, it was what was going on in the moment, which was a fairly complex situation. What this mother is doing to her child with her hand in his face, I mean, we'll never know. But we'll always be able to guess. You know, and that's sort of the fun of it. But geometrically, what I found attractive about this were the bent elbows, which are echoed in the statuary, as well as the arms of the people in the front. I was walking past this scene, saw those kids gathered, saw them engaged in, it was really an after-school conversation, and I saw the young fellow with the black-collared shirt checking the credentials of the young woman who's about to slap him. And you can see that despite the fact that he's aware the slap is coming, the point of his gaze remains firmly on her chest. My hope, really, relative to what folks experience in looking at these pictures, is a certain transparency relative to me being the creator of these images. And in fact, if I'm in some way loudly present in these images, I would feel as if the images were a failure. Unfortunately, I'm a human being, and I fail more often than I succeed. I want the audience to create their own picture.